Welcome to Old Iron Machine Works. This will be a project on an Oscar, I believe I pronounced it right, drill press, as you can see in the picture. It's a gearhead drill press that my good friend picked up, and it had an issue. The support arm for the table was previously broke, and somebody attempted to do some nickel rod welding and not very successful. Broke again. And he asked if I was interested in giving him a hand and seeing about fixing it. So this video is pretty much repairing this broken arm. Here's just some clips of the drill press coming apart. Now I'm not a fan of nickel rod. I've used my share of it, but I prefer brazing whenever I can. And coming up in this next clip shows the column. The column is a cast column with a support down the center of it. So I decided to not use it for the slug for clamping everything on when I re-weld because it would definitely distort an egg shape. So I decided to take an old compressor piston out of one of our old compressors and just machine it down. You can see it's very heavy and thick, and it'll act as two things. It'll help maintain, keep some of the heat in the area where it gets welded, and give me something to clamp to. These three areas in the center of the piston do not contact anything, so I'm just machining them down a little bit, just so when I go to remove it from the arm after it's brazed up, I won't have to fight those sections. Here I'll let the arm run in a cabinet for quite a while, just trying to get all the grease and oil and crap off of it.
That gives no strength whatsoever. This depends on the other half to give this strength. All the strength's got to come from these two tabs.
On these kind of repairs, there's always a lot of preparation work, especially when you're repairing something that's already been repaired once. All this old weld all has to be cut off and got rid of, ground out. Being this cast iron arm was painted, I wanted to make it to where when it's all done and restored, nobody would ever see the repair or know it was repaired. I know sometimes it's kind of hard to do a repair, that you can't tell, but whenever possible, I try to make it to where, unless you blast the paint off of it, you'll never know. Where the arm broke was right at where the rack goes for the rack and pinion that raises and lowers the table. So what I'm doing here is I'm just machining a 1/4 by 1 inch piece of flat bar, and I'm machining it 2 thousandths wider than the rack, and it'll be my jig. So when I'm clamping everything up, it'll go into place, and just set the spacing before I weld. The rack's 24 millimeters, or basically 945. So I made that 947. I would normally not have that big of a gap, but since I had to get rid of all the old weld, and I'm not able to get to the inside to do any welding, I need to try to get a nice 100% weld with minimal machining and grinding on the inside. And here we have my fixture, the way I decided to clamp everything up. Basically got the big slug fitted inside. The slug gets exact the diameter of the column. And on the smaller piece that broke off, I just got it clamped right to that slug. And then you can see the chain there. I just got the chain sucking the slug up tight against the saddle on the main part of the arm. And then you can see right there, then I just got the little key in there, just to space it, where the rack's going to go. And the thing about this here is whenever you're heating up any kind of cast iron, you're going to have plenty of heating and expansion, and you want it to be able to move. And with this setup, it will still be able to grow right along that piston. If it, when it expands, it will move a little bit. Here you can see, when you tighten it up, it's going to want to pull the weld apart because it pinches at a column. You'll have two little handles to tighten up. So here I went ahead and ground in some steps for the braze to really bite into. If it wasn't for the fact of tightening up that arm and wanting to pull that weld apart, I normally wouldn't bother. I'd just braze it up. But I wanted to give it a little extra, bite so it wouldn't rip the braze out. On a job like this, I like bare bracing rod, with the flux. I only had one stick of the 3/16 left, so I had to use a lot of the 1/8 inch, which on a lot of welding jobs is pretty big, but this job ended up taking an awful lot of brazing rod. Here I've already heated up once with the rosebud, and I'm just kind of letting everything just sit a little bit, let the heat penetrate into that piston, and now I'm firing up and heating it up again. Some people think you gotta get stuff super, super hot. I don't, I'm not sure what temperature I get. I try to get a good even heat all the way around, but I don't get it crazy hot. Now it took a very long time to melt in this much brazing rod, and the piston absorbed a lot of heat, and the piston's gonna kind of help control how fast it cools off. So now I just want to get it covered up, with a little heat blanket, and just kind of slow down the cool off process. This little inside section right there, the low section, I decided that it would just be filled in with some body putty. I did not want to pile that much braze over that area. It would do no good. And the more you put on, it does want to pull. So it does have, the little low spots, got plenty enough weld, and then it'll just be filled in with some body putty to kind of smooth the lines up on it. Don't have any clips on that, but I had to get down inside there with the die grinder, and kind of smooth out where the weld kind of was puddling through. this was the morning my friend was coming to pick it up. I kind of roughed it out, with some body work, and then he was going to take over from there and finish it off. And I do have a few clips of after he took it. All the next clips are after my friend picked it up and started doing some body work on it and cleaning the column up. Here he's got the base all cleaned up, ready for paint. There's the base painted. Here he's got the column in his Watkin RU sliding gap bed lathe. It's a wood lathe, a pattern maker's lathe. And here he's got the column on the base, and he's got the arm on the column with the rack and pinion. Pretty happy with the way it came out. Anyway, if you like this kind of content, please hit the subscribe button for my existing subscribers. It's always nice to have you guys stop by and check out the video. Once again, thanks for watching.